Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today in this important forum where our theme is gender stereotype. And we're going to discuss today about what they are and why they exist and how, as a community, we can overcome them. Because for me, gender stereotype affects all of us, men, women, boys, girls, regardless of culture or background. The gender stereotype actually decides what we are allowed to do or who we are supposed to be. But the question is, we'll explore is, should stereotype define us or should we define ourselves? So today with me, I have my two fellow panelists, which is Alia Najwa and Shafika. So over the next 45 minutes or more, we'll dive into this issue in depth, and we'll define gender stereotypes and examine why they persist and discuss their consequences, and also debate how to overcome them and imagine a world beyond this gender stereotype. So let's start with the basics. Alia, for you personally, what do you think gender stereotype is?
Okay, first of all, thank you Katrina for having me. Well, to put it simply, gender stereotypes are fixed ideas about how women and men should behave or act. They're like labels you are expected to fit into. Well, let's be real. How many times have we heard about boys shouldn't cry and girls always know how to cook? Those are the things that we call gender stereotypes. But let me share a personal story of mine first. Back in secondary school, I joined a cooking club, and my friends kind of teased me like, "Wow, Yaya, you're a girl. You must have been so good at cooking." But there's the irony today. Those boys and girls ask me for recipes when they want to impress someone. That's how ridiculous stereotypes can be, because cooking is a basic life skills that boys and girls should know to survive.
Well, that's true, Yaya. But for me, it was sports. I love football since I was young. But every time I joined the boys to play, people would say like, "Wow, you are so rough. This sport is so rough for a girl." So they also say like, "Don't you want to do something like more girly, such as netball or gymnastics?" Well, these stereotypes limits opportunities for me, and this kind of stereotype also make you second guess yourself, and sometimes girls also drop out of sports altogether because they don't want to be labeled as boyish.
I think for me, what both of you are saying is important, because gender stereotypes are not harmless jokes. They shape identities, and when people keep hearing them, they start to believe. For example, a boy who is told not to cry might grow up thinking that emotions are shameful and make them feel less masculine. And when a girl who's told leadership is not for women, she might never even try. So let's bring this discussion to another deeper level. Why do you guys think these stereotypes exist?
Well, I'll take this first, okay? Historically, stereotypes come from the division of labor. In the past, men hunted or went to war while women stays at home and cared for children. Over time, those roles become seen as natural. Even though today we have technology, education, and more very different lifestyles. Yeah.
Well, that is what actually happens now, and the culture reinforces this. Well, to think about our ancient context, boys are often seen their family, even in the workplace, and while girls are taught to be proper and more respectful. Even small things like color also get gender. For example, blue only for boys and pink just for girls.
And that's very true too. And let's not forget the media. Movies, dramas, even advertisement shows men as the breadwinners and women as the caretakers. If you notice closely, cooking oil or detergent ads always shows women, while car or insurance ads always shows men. And that reputation shapes our minds without realizing. For example, it has fixed to a mindset that women belongs to the kitchen, and they will, get excited when they see these cooking ads and everything, and the men are more towards the car and mechanical and engineering stuff.
One thing I would like to add, another reason is family upbringing itself. Parents often mean well, but when they say, "You're a girl, you should not climb the trees," or "You're a boy, so don't play with toys," it's weird. Well, they're already creating walls for their children. I mean, both genders are free to like whatever they want. I mean, boys can play dolls, and it doesn't mean they're into girl stuff.
That's right. Well, I want to add about the religion perspective. Sometimes our cultural practice get mixed with religious values. Well, people always say like God wants it this way, when in fact many religions emphasize equality, compassion, and also justice. It is the human interpretation that often twists it into stereotypes.
So, to move forward with our discussions, what are the effects of gender stereotypes? So, let's talk about the consequences and what actually happens when the stereotypes rules the society.
Okay, so I think for women, the most obvious effect in fewer opportunities is girls are told not to pursue the studies into STEM, which consists science, technology, engineering, and also mathematics. This is because they say that they are too hard for women. But the truth is, we can see that women can also excel in this field. For example, look at our Dr. Nur Aini Idris in Malaysia, who is a leading math educator, or even global icons like Marie Curie. Well, yet stereotypes get many girls away because they are scared of other perspectives.
That is very true, Shafiqa. And for men, the impact is psychological. Boys keep growing up hearing "man up" or "don't be weak." This leads to men hiding their emotions, refusing to ask for help. That is one reason men are less likely to seek therapy and ask for help. In fact, global studies show men have higher suicide rates compared to women. That is the cause of toxic masculinity that this world is practicing.
So, if you are talking about another lens in workplaces, stereotypes become a barrier where women often earn less than men for the same job. If you are an executive manager as a man, your pay is slightly higher if you are an executive manager as a woman. And that's the gender pay gap. So men are promoted more often while women face the same glass ceiling. At the same time, men who choose caregiving professions like nursing are ridiculed into being in a woman's job. So who says we don't have male nurses? Actually, in Malaysia itself, we have plenty of male nurses. But when a male says he wants to pursue his career into nursing, they will often look like, oh, isn't that label it as isn't that a female's job?
Well, that's true, that's true. So basically, these stereotypes are to limit everyone, both genders actually. Women are capable of leadership, men are capable of vulnerability. Both sides lose. Yeah, both sides are losing.
So, in order to overcoming these gender stereotypes, in our society, what can we do so that we do not bring this gender stereotype to the next upcoming generation?
Well, what can we do to fight this? So let me share my opinion in this. I think the most important is education. This is because we need to teach our children from young that interests and talents are not tied to genders. Well, a girl who loves robots or cars or something like boyish should be encouraged, while a boy who loves like art, fashion and even makeup should be supported, not be. So we need to support our children.
Well, that's true. I feel a man, you know, Tslb, the CEO of the biggest, fashionable company, he's a boy, and also Giorgio Armani, Christian Dior, and Ralph Lauren. They are all boys, and they are into fashion, and they even have a big company that runs until today. Okay, so second, representation. Representation show diversity. Let's see women CEOs, men teachers, women engineers, men dancers. The more society sees it, the more normal it becomes.
So for me, third, I'd say is awareness. We should always watch our words. Small things like you throw like a girl or that's not manly actually reinforce stereotypes. If we start breaking the cycle. Instead of just passing the comments like you throw like a girl or that's not manly, instead of saying that, we could just switch it. Like if you see someone has a feminine feature as a boy, you don't have to go and pass a comment on it. Or if a girl has any masculinity, like she can carry heavy stuff, you don't have to label it as, oh, you're not very feminine. It's unnecessary for you to pass a comment like that, which again bringing back to the gender stereotype cycle that has been going around for generations.
Okay, so I can say that the last thing is the laws and policies should take part on this. Well, the government must enforce equal pay, provide both maternity and paternity leaves, and also they need to encourage more women in leadership. But laws alone are not enough because our mindset too must be changed. Well, we say that we should avoid glass ceiling things. So we need to encourage more women to step ahead and be confident when doing something.
So have you ever wondered what happens if we overcome these gender stereotypes?
Imagine a world where people follow their passion and not based on gender roles. A girl can be a pilot, a firefighter, and a boy can be a kindergarten teacher, a nurse, and nobody bats an eye.
Well, I think society would progress faster, and just take a look at our world right now. We could see that we are losing half of our potential because of the population is limited. Well, let's imagine the innovation if everyone could contribute freely, and well, that must be great for everyone.
And not to mention this, relationships would improve very much because men could express their love and fear without shame. And women could lead without guilt. Families could share housework fairly, and children would grow up knowing that equality is normal.
But let me challenge this a little bit. Some people say stereotypes exist because men and women are naturally different. So why fight it? Like, I cannot understand.
Well, I get that, but difference doesn't mean limitation. I know, yes, men may generally have more physical strength, but that doesn't mean women can be soldiers or even athletes. Well, women may be more empathic and more emotional than men, but that doesn't mean that men can be a great father or even be a nurse.
Exactly. Equality for me isn't about making men and women identical. No. Men are gifted with different kind of capabilities, and women are gifted with different kind of capabilities. But it's about giving them the freedom to choose their paths without someone judging them or just keep on telling them what to do. It's like you're free to do anything you want. But you don't have to stop someone doing a thing that they has the potential just because they are not in, that it doesn't suit with their gender. So let me turn this to both of you. Think a moment, have you ever been told you couldn't do something because of your gender? How did that make you feel?
Well, let me start. Back in high school, I was very, very into soldiers. I want to be a soldier since I was 9. But then my parents kind of limited me, like, oh no, you shouldn't be a soldier. That's only for boys. You should become a teacher or a nurse or even a doctor because girls are tend to be intelligent, of course. And my parents said that we don't want a soldier daughter. Like my brother is now a soldier. He is so praised by both of my parents. I feel like it is very unfair to me and other girls who are limited to their passion, especially when the parents themselves that do it to their daughters. It's so unfair.
So Shafika, would you like to tell us, have you ever been told you couldn't do something because of your gender? And when you faced that incident, how did that truly make you feel?
Well, this is not happens to me, but my brother. Well, my brother really into a fashion thing, So he want to pursue his study into the
Fashion designing.
Yeah, fashion designer. But my family really against it. Like, you can't be a fashion designer. You should be a police instead. But my brother still
Fought for his ambitions.
Yeah, he's still being the fashion designer, and now I think my family looks like they already accept it. Even at first they don't like it, but now I can see that they can accept it more freely. And yes, my brother now be a fashion designer. Yes.
So for me, I personally have an incident where when I was in a job interview, they said, actually the job interview did not specify whether they are only recruiting men or women. So I went for the interview back after SPM, and they said, we are not hiring because you are a female. And then I asked, why didn't you specify it when you post the poster? And they said, this job is more towards manly. Instead, it was just a store helper, and it actually made me sad because I was limited to beyond just because I was a female, and they thought I am not capable to do that job, which is kind of disturbing up until today because we still have people going around with that particular mindset that thinks that women should do this type of works or chores and men are should be more into masculine works, you know.
Can I add a little thing? I have a cousin. He is very tall, very good looking, and very model-like. And he has a passion in becoming a steward. But then my auntie and my uncle kinda against him, against the steward's work, because he's a boy, and the parents said that why not become a pilot? I mean, if you are really into becoming a cabin crew, just become a pilot. You don't have to serve people on the plane like a steward. It makes you look weak and gay. I was like, oh my god, that's his passion. Then let him be a steward. If he doesn't want to be a pilot, then it is up to him. He is free to choose.
So that is very true, because another thing is, this is coming back again to the media and the concept that our people ahead of our generation and our generation has been instilled, where we often see that again men are supposed to go in this specific career path and females should only do this specific jobs, whereas there are a lot of males who choose different careers that is not masculine, and women that choose a masculine job. For example, have you ever heard of underwater welding? So I know someone who's very close to me, and she's a female. Initially, when she wanted to become an underwater welding engineer, if I'm not wrong, the family was against it, because they said, you are a girl and you should not, they did not even say you should consider something else. They straight up said you should not pursue that ambition or that passion, because you're a woman and you're putting your feminine in line. Which means if she pursues that job, it will make her look more like man. And they said nobody wants to marry masculine women, which was actually kind of very narrow-minded in this generation, because now with all the digital technologies and the exposure we are getting into, it is still very few people that understand about this gender stereotypes and how they can refrain from that happening.
Well, I want to share about my story. Well, last week I had a family gathering, and you know what? My auntie asked my cousin, who is also a girl, like, when do you will get married? And do you know how to cook? Well, my auntie asked my brother like about career and more about into jobs. Well, it is very unfair for my cousin, because what if she want to pursue her study, what other than being get married? Well, this is very unfair, because my auntie asked that kind of question. It's kind of rude, and she also asked my sister, when will you get a kid? That's really, really unrespectful for my sister. And the women not always about cook or about marry and kids. They also want to study or get what she dreamed for. So it's good for the aunties to know about this stereotypes.
Well, yes, I can agree, because my cousin, no, not our cousin, like generally, women are expected to get married before 26, because when you are turning 27, you are too old to be married and have kids. I mean, yeah, but like boys, males especially, they can get married like in whatever age they want, as long as he is ready. But what if the women are not ready for those kind of lifestyles? Like, as a woman myself, this makes me feel very unfair, because we have a dream too to pursue, not only men. I mean, if we are are not ready, then let us have our time.
So that's very true, because again, coming back, these gender stereotypes or something has subconsciously slipped into people's mind, because during those days people were not aware as much as us in this generation are aware of these gender stereotypes. I will not blame them for being innocent and asking this type of questions, because when they were growing up they faced this type of questions too, but it's just in different timelines and different eras. Now as we have exposures more towards these gender stereotypes and all the other things that is happening socially around us, I think we hold the biggest responsibility to make sure that this cycle breaks at our generation, and we should be responsible for not bringing this to the next generation.
And do you guys know that in Spain, they kind of break one of gender stereotypes? Like, I've seen a picture of my favorite Spanish actor, which is he posts about being topless in the beach, and his sister is also kind of topless, because back in Spain, it is a normal thing for women to be topless, especially at the beach, because it's just a body, a figure that both genders are free to do whatever they want, and it's just a body. I mean, they are free to do what they want. I mean, in some other countries, it might seem like women should be covered. Yeah, I agree, but that is so unfair, because men, they are not getting criticized if they do whatever they want.
So for me, I am a little bit against that point, because different countries again holds different type of cultures, but we in Malaysia, it is definitely impossible for us to practice that, because we come from different various religions and different cultures, and women are told to, our body is a sacred place and we should always cover it. So I don't think that is nearly anywhere possible in Malaysia. But if it's in Western country and that is their way of life and culture, then that's fine. But
it's only in Spain.
So
That's how interesting.
So again, so that is something that I don't see Malaysia will ever do, because again we are from different cultures and different religions, where it is not encouraged to do so.
Well, guys, do you notice? I noticed that when a woman gets to drive a new car or luxury car, we can see that people will talk like she must get it from her husband or even their family. But when a man drive a new car, they will say like, wow, he is a great person, he is a good and most religious person in the world. But what if that girl achieve her dream to buy a new car with her own effort? Isn't it unfair for her? Like, she make it. Like, why did you want to be? Why you want to judge her? Like, just happy for her. Like, she can get what she want. You can't, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's for money.
So circling back to the workplace, as we initially discussed, for me, we know there is a lot of successful entrepreneurs who is female. For example, even in Malaysia, let's talk about like influencers. Let's say, like Salihu or Mia Azahar. They are a well-known entrepreneurs in the fashion field, and that doesn't mean it makes them any less than a man. Even like Dato Alif Shukri right now, who is known for selling a lot of social products in the social media, that doesn't make him any less masculine. Even I have seen one of his posts where he was selling the rarest Swarovski's handbag. By selling those things, it doesn't make him anywhere near less to being not masculine and such. It is just about our perceptions and our mindsets on how we see things and how we bring things to the next generation. If we think that, oh, this gender stereotype has been practiced for generations and it should be imposed to the next to the upcoming generation, then we are at fault, not them, because we chose to not change, but we chose to just keep quiet and not break the cycle.
Recently I've done some analysis. It shows that women agree that they are being gender stereotypes in their workplace, especially when they leave for maternity leave. Their boss doesn't even pay her for those 3-month leave. I mean, it is quite very unfair because it's like a human basic rights to care and to have a break after 3 months of childbirth, and she deserves to be paid.
Well, that's true. Like, we can see that they didn't get the equal pay because of these gender stereotypes. Well, and the women also sometimes didn't get a chance to be themselves at work because they will get judged easily by others. For example, if they are too confident to do some things, like they are more brave to open up her ideas or what, people will judge her immediately. But if men do that thing, everyone will support him and make him as a leader. But if women do that, they just ignore it, like, you can't do that because you're a woman. You should not control us.
Like you should even bother to try.
Yeah, you don't.
So let me ask this question. It can be controversial, but have you seen gender stereotypes in Malaysia or the society you live in?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you share your experience in general in Malaysia?
Can I specificalize in my own family?
I think we talk about the society, maybe like outside our families.
Oh yeah. Well, in society, I've seen that in Malaysia, women are never allowed to become a footballer. If you look it closely, there are no female footballers in Malaysia. They are only men. But in some European country, they have a footballer team specifically for women.
I do not quite agree because we do have local, not local, but we do have women football teams in Malaysia. But it is just not as popular as the
Yes.
men's football team.
Yeah.
Because society, I'd say, are not interested to see women playing football, and they rather watch men playing football because it is more towards a man's sport.
You know about basketball?
Yes.
We can see that only men get recognized by the society because they thought that only men can play that kind of sports. Like, basketball is quite tough. Like, it's quite hard, but there are also women that play that sport. And you can see that the society does not interested at all to see women playing something like quite rare.
Yes.
So, for example, if you're talking about sports, I like to add rugby.
Oh yeah.
So before this, rugby was known as the sports for men, and it was very, very, very less for women to take place to play this rugby. Because number one, rugby is such an aggressive sport, and they say it is often women are too soft to be a part of the rugby team. But I can see now that there are few upcoming rugby teams in our own country that is able to represent our countries in the national and international level. So the next question I'll ask is, how do you think, or where do you think our country will be if we break this gender stereotype?
But it will definitely become very
our country will be more like recognized by other countries too, so it can make our economies more stable, and that helps to make our society much better.
So if we see in the politics, there are a lot of men as the leaders, and I'm not denying that there is no women at all. That is actually not true. There is a lot of female leaders, especially our own Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia, who has been led by our own education minister is a woman, and also the sports minister is also a woman. So I think women hold the same capability as men when it comes to politics too. So what is your take on this?
Well, back in other country, I'm not talking about Malaysia. A country, I think Finland has a female prime minister. I think it's a good thing because it is my first time seeing a female prime minister. I am kinda like impressed because the people know that not only men can be a leader, and women also can take leadership, and experience Finland has a very good in everything, in every way. The safety there is guaranteed in whatever. Yeah, it's actually as good as if men are leading the country.
Well, there is also a woman who leading the company that we can see that they get more success than the men who lead the company. So we can see that women also capable to lead the one organization that sometimes people see that women can handle the problems that might be faces later, but women can be great too, and they can handle it more better because they have the much more empathy and that kind of feeling which get more, they will be more understand, and the strategies that she make are more useful and more neat. Yeah.
I'm not denying that the fact that our male figures in this politics is not making right decision. I would never say that, but it's just that women think far. The perception where male and female is much different, and also society thinks that only male can lead better when they are in the leadership role. So to conclude our wonderful discussions today, I'd say that gender stereotypes are not just small culture quirks. They are actually the barriers that block humans' potential. Like as we discussed, there are a lot of potential someone holds besides their gender. Just because you are a male, or you are restricted from doing this. If you are female and you are restricted from doing this. No, everybody holds a special potential, and we should not and we should never limit it just because of their gender. And in order to reduce this stereotype, we need to educate and represent and challenge stereotypes daily. Change this starts small in families, classrooms, and workplace to make this society a better place.
And we need to remember that equality doesn't mean sameness, but it means fairness. When a word free of stereotype is a word where people can be their true self without worrying being judged by others.
Well, that's exactly what we need. Society shuts doors before we can even try. But in summary, gender stereotypes are not just small cultural quirks, but instead, they are barriers that block human potential. It should be broken by now, and we have to take actions in these matters.
again, as we say, that we should take responsibilities of how we are bringing this gender stereotype topics or this issue overall, because again, it's like some people feel uncomfortable when they want to speak up about these issues. So we as societies, we should create a safe space where despite their gender, they can be able to let know of their feelings and make sure they are not judged because they are letting out their emotions and label their emotions into something else. And we should always respect humans as they are, not just because of their gender.
So everyone should work together to make sure these stereotypes will not happen anymore in our society. Like it can be a small start in small organizations, even in the family itself. Like we can educate our children and give them a chance to be themselves and just support them whatever they want to be. They wanted to be. So as a human, we need to understand that everyone has their own right to be whatever they wanted, and it's very crucial for everyone to know this better and practice it in our society.
Yes, and one more thing, we should normalize boys showing emotions because, as I have mentioned just now, boys or men are more likely to become depressed and even commit suicide. But as a concerned citizen, I would say that it's okay to cry. I mean, we are all human. We have feelings, and expressing them does not make you weak. And it's okay. You have to seek help if you need to. Do not bottle up your feelings. This is not good.
We should support them and make sure that they have a great support, so they will be more confident when doing some things, like when they want to be a fashion designer or even a makeup artist.
Yeah.
They can be like, we just follow the flow and just let them, and even if you are not agree with this, so just maybe just a little, give them just a little reminder, and that's all.
So to conclude all our discussions today, I'd like to just give a small reminder. We should always remember that equality doesn't mean sameness, because again, men and women are completely different. But gender equality means fairness, where if women are given a special, women are capable of doing something, men should be capable of doing it too. If men are capable of doing masculine stuff, women are somehow capable to do it too. And we, again, should create a world that is free of stereotype, and also because a world that is free from stereotypes is a world where people can be their true selves. They don't have to hide behind an identity which will only make them feel more depressed and less likely to be themselves. So, and I think all of us have shared our personal experiences, our inputs, and all the things that we have seen with our own eyes living in this community. And it's safe to say that we are able to create changes if we are willing. So let's keep that in mind, and I hope you had a wonderful sharing session.
Well, we must be remembered that gender stereotypes should not be continued because it's limit others' right to be themselves. So we must be together to make sure these things are not continue more in our society.
Do not lose hope, guys. These things are not unchangeable. If we are gathered together, then we can break these gender stereotypes.
So I think that's all we have today in our discussion. Thank you all for joining and listening to each other's inputs and feedbacks. So I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katrina, for having us.
Thank you, Katrina. So
My pleasure.
Please remember, let's break these
Gender stereotypes together.